As Wrestling Jesus always says, alrighty. Um, what I want to talk about here in this video, just random news and stuff that's kind of going on with wrestling today. So just random stuff on wrestling. One of the things I want to talk about in the wrestling news world is Chris Hero that's being signed to a developmental deal with WWE. I got this piece of information from my boy Mad Scientist 7890, aka Ryan. He done a video on this fantastic news I think last week. And when hearing him talk about the story, not story, but giving the report on Chris Hero finally being signed with the WWE to developmental deal at least. I was just overjoyed with this because I heard Chris Hero had signed before, but he failed a drug test or something, so wasn't able to. And then when he came back from Ring of Honor and Final Battle last year, I'm like, okay, well at least he's back. I can see him now. But it seems like WWE is gonna give him another try for a second time. I'm really stoked about this. I was just as excited as Ryan, Mad Scientist, is about this news. Chris Hero, one of my favorite guys from Ring of Honor, favorite wrestlers of current new stars of talent, of today's generation of wrestling. And I don't think Chris Hero needs to be in developmental deal. Chris Hero is Chris Hero's past his prime. I mean, he's 34, 35-ish, I think. So he is past his prime. But, he can still go. He's not old. He's in his, well, I like to say, he's in his middle prime, where, you're not quite ripe, but you're not quite rotten either. You're in the middle stages of rotten and being ripe. So, and there's nothing wrong with that because Del Rio and Sheamus, they're all around the same ages as well. But I just think, and a few other wrestlers I can name were also in that same age bracket. But because of his age, I honestly don't see why they put him in FCW. Chris Hero is a guy I would just put him slap him on the main roster. The guy has been wrestling for over 15 years. What more could you possibly teach him, at his age, But then I could probably understand why WWE may put him in a developmental deal because, let's face it, he comes from Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor is that aggressive, fast-paced style of wrestling, and WWE, I guess you want to say kind of rub off that Ring of Honor type style off of Hero and kind of have him adapted and used to the WWE style of wrestling, which I particularly don't really care for WWE styles of wrestling since, my mind's been broad and open to, other different styles and forms of wrestling. I prefer over WWE style, but, it is what it is. So that's probably the only reason I could think that they would put him in their developmental deal to teach him their style of wrestling. But other than that, I just really put him on the main roster. I don't see why he's even in there. No, it's his former tag team partner who was in Ring of Honor, Claudio. He's also in there as well, in the developmental deal. They could bring them in as a tag team if they know anything about Hero and Claudio being the kings of wrestling in the Ring of Honor and being tag team champions. They may have them as a tag team. Personally, I would just it would be cool to see them it'd be good to see them as a tag team, the kings of wrestling into WWE, because the tag team division is in the gutter. And I think having those two guys who know each other really well, have good chemistry, have been a successful tag team, like Claudio and Hero, it'll definitely boost up, the tag team division. However, I just think considering Chris Hero's age, he's 34, 5-ish, I would much rather see Chris Hero in a main event push rather than the tag team push in WWE, at least, because Chris Hero has won world titles pretty much almost everywhere he's been: Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, CZW, IWA, but he's never won a belt in Ring of Honor, which is unfortunate. A world title in Ring of Honor at least. So if they're gonna put him into in WWE, I would much rather see Chris Hero have a solo push in WWE, because I mean he's good. He's good in both being a solo and tag team wrestler, but he was a solo wrestler before he was a tag team wrestler, and I just think Chris Hero deserves to be like a top world champion, like contender top guy. That's just my opinion on that. But hopefully Chris Hero, can pass this developmental deal or whatever from SCW and come on up to WWE. I'd love to see him working the program with Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, because these guys have had programs together when they were in Ring of Honor and IWA. So it'll be a extra treat for me to see them working a program together. For people who haven't followed those guys that far back, it'll be a special treat for us for those of us who have followed these guys that far back before they came to WWE. Next piece of information I kind of talk about was Vince Russo. Stuff going around saying that Vince Russo is no longer with TNA, that he's actually leaving TNA booking committee or team. He's like done with TNA. He's leaving TNA. Don't know if he's got fired or not, but it's being said that he himself has chosen to leave. And there's a rumor of someone going around and taking a spot as part of the booking team. Bruce Pritchard is still the head booker, but someone else to take Russo's place is someone else. I can't think of the guy's name, but a lot of stuff is flying around on that. Nothing's confirmed on that. However, it's not being really confirmed if Vince Russo is leaving TNA, because tons of wrestlers and stuff on Twitter from TNA have been saying it's not true. Vince Russo is not leaving TNA. He's still with TNA. He's still going to stay with us here in TNA. So I don't know. I hope this rumor comes out to be true, because regardless if Vince Russo is the head honcho guy calling the shots, or the guy underneath the guy calling the head honcho shot, and he has some type of control, period, Vince Russo he's just a cancer to wrestling. So I think Vince Russo just needs to leave altogether. That'll be the first step in the right direction for TNA. Get rid of Russo, and then hopefully they'll get rid of Hogan and Bischoff shortly after, and hopefully they can bring in Paul Heyman, although that might not work either, but I'll say that on another day. But I hope rumors do come out to be true that Russo is no longer in TNA, and then hopefully later down the line, sooner than later, Bischoff and Hogan will leave as well. And if all three of those guys leave, I may start having faith in TNA, in the company itself once more, if these three stooges would leave. So that's one bit of wrestling news we'll talk about there. So that's been flying around lately for the past few weeks. The last bit of wrestling news is that The Rock is coming up with another three-disc WWE DVD set. I forgot the name of it because I only saw it once, like a month ago. But WWE are working on another 3-disc documentary, Rock DVD, and I think it should be released sometime, I think like a week before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania 28. It's due to release. WrestleMania is April 1st. It's like, I think the DVD is set to release like April 28th or April 26th, something like that. But the new 3-disc Rock documentary DVD set is due to release sometime after WrestleMania, I think, or maybe May. But either way, I'm excited for that because I'm a big Rocky fan, like I would think a lot of people are. So it'll definitely be a must-buy for me. I'm looking forward to that as well. So let me know what you guys think about these three topics. The new Rock DVD coming out, Vince Russo possibly, maybe, leaving TNA for good, and Chris Hero joining WWE in the developmental deal, at least. So let me know what you guys think about these three wrestling topics in the comments below.